it's hot. It's hot out here again, people of God. But I'm getting started. Listen, I want to share something with you. If you can get parts and things like that for your vehicles, go ahead and try to do that. I know many of you. Daniel, Mate, come here. Come here. Daniel, you're not listening. I said get back over here. Good boy. I know many of you have gotten the oil and stuff like that I was telling you a few months ago, and I bet you're probably excited that you did do that. You know, me personally, I've never changed the oil on my car before, but just because I bought it brand new, and I've just always like taking it to the dealer for certain things. But then you know, now with the way things are going, parts and things are becoming more and more expensive. They're raising the prices for oil changes, stuff like that, and sometimes people don't fix stuff right. If it's something I could do myself, I try to do that. Then that way it gives me a peace of mind. And when it comes to the oil, for example, I know me personally, my oil changes is just a simple 4.5 oil change. You know, it's gone up to now where it's like 75 bucks on a car. And it used to be, many of you probably remember, on a simple car, you used to pay about 30, then it went up to 45, 50, 60, 75. And they're going to keep raising the price. So for me, being that I'm already out here doing some work, it takes nothing. It's very simple to just loosen this bolt, let the 4.5 quarts that's already in there drain, unscrew this filter. You see the oil filter right there? I don't even have to take this cover down. I can unscrew this. Let me turn the camera around. You see, I can unscrew that filter right there. This is made so you don't have to take the cover down. Just get an oil filter wrench and take the old filter off, put the new filter on. And so that's what I'm going to do. It's going to take nothing for me. I've never changed my oil in my car before. So this will be my first time, but it's very simple, like I said. But to pay $75 for something that takes less than an hour, when you take that bolt out, that oil is just going to drain in this pan. It's going to drain rather quickly. All of it will probably be drained out in less than 10 minutes. Put the bolt back on, unscrew this filter, put a new filter on, add your 4.5 quarts to the oil, and that's it. You know, and that saves you 75 bucks, which you can buy 4.5 quarts of oil now for $30. You see? So it's not bad. But it's not bad to just learn how to do things yourself, because you know, I was my subscriber, I'm not going to call your name, but what you said this morning, you were saying how you were thankful for my video. I guess you were beating yourself up because your engine had blown in your vehicle, and you were driving what you deem a bummer or whatever I forgot the name that your terminology that you used to describe the vehicle. But here's the thing about that, right? Don't let the world make you feel as if you have to have a $500,000 car or $1 million car to ride with your head up. You should already be riding with your head up, even if what you have. I mean, and not only that, look at your bounce back. Your engine blew out in another car, so you had to downgrade, and you're able to do that. You know how many people aren't able to do that? You know, and not only that, a lot of these older cars, you see the price for an older car now is almost doubling what the brand new cars cost. You know, the world is changing. I said this some months ago, I think. I remember saying something some months ago. The world is changing. And sometimes you... Come here, guys. Come here. Where's Mate? Mate! Oh, there she is. I didn't see her. You know, the world is changing. And sometimes now it's very difficult to get parts and certain things like that, especially for the newer vehicles. You know, newer vehicles, if you need a new vehicle, they're on back order. Some of them, if you need vehicles for work and stuff, you have to wait 6 months to a year, if that, and that time is still not very promising, you know. So older cars can be a blessing nowadays to keep yourself moving, and the parts for them are significantly cheaper than a lot of these parts for older vehicles. There's one particular person I know, they had a nice high dollar vehicle, and there was one part that went bad that was so expensive, they couldn't afford to get the part, so the vehicle had to stay sitting, to the point where they found someone who took it off of them, and they had to give it up for a deal that they didn't want to give it up, but they couldn't afford to keep it, you know. So be comfortable, be content. Godliness with contentment. Be content in all things. If God bless you to pay the minimum of your bills, or to keep your bills paid on time, you know, if he bless you to be able to be in a house when it's so hot outside with running air conditioner, if he blesses you to be able to feed yourself, if he blesses you with at least a vehicle, you know, that's a blessing. You know how many people are walking and having to, you know, catch rides, and it's so hot in the heat. You know, if you're not in a state or a city that's known number one for their public transport, it's hard. You know, I remember when I went to London for the first time. London, their public transport is similar to New York. You know, they are blessed because you can go to just about any street and just put a hand up and say taxi, or, you know, catch a bus and get to and from. So they are blessed because, you know, my cousin's family that live in New Jersey, I remember they would go and park when they had to go to New York for work. They would park someplace at this place where you would park your car, so your cars wouldn't get struck, because they said a lot of people would hit your cars in the big city and you never know who did it. So they would park at a certain place and catch the ferry over to New York and catch the taxi here, taxi there. I was like, wow, you know. So places like that, you're blessed. But if you're out in some of these southern states, baby, and you don't have a car, it's hot, you know. So I don't care if you're driving a hoopty. I don't care what you drive. If you're driving a 1989 Volkswagen Beetle, trust me, you got one person that's willing to ride with you. I ride with you. I personally like older cars, you know, old classic cars. But, you know, learning how in today's time, we need financial currency still to get things done. But learning new skills and acquiring new skills and learning how to do things yourself in a long run, that is going to be very beneficial. That is going to sustain many people of God. You know, see, y'all done run and get hot. Let me turn the fan on. You know, that's going to sustain many people of God, just learning how to be self-sufficient and doing a lot of things ourselves. Get in front of the fan. Come here, my teddy. Get in front of the fan. Let me move. Go ahead, get in front of the fan. Go ahead. Cool down. You getting cool? There you go. It's gonna get too hot out here in a minute. But yeah, be content with what you have and learn. Take in as much knowledge. While we have internet, things aren't limited. Malcolm X said it best, baby. Knowledge is power. Learn as much as you can learn. Learn how to do things yourself, you know. And heck, if you had the time and opportunity, the space, that engine went out, you could research how to unbolt that thing, get you one of them engine hoists from Harbor Freight, put the chains on it, unbolt that sucker, lift it out on that hoist, let it lift that, roll that thing up till it lifts that motor out of there, and put you a new one in there, same way you took it out. But that takes time, and a lot of people, you know, a lot of us don't have time and resources to do certain things ourselves, so we still do need each other. But when we can learn how to do things ourselves, We should, and we should be content with whatever it is we have. All this material thing, you know, nice things, don't get me wrong now. I will applaud someone that's worked hard and got something nice. You know, there's no man or woman in this earth that I envy or that I jealous. I've never been like that. You know, I've had people who I feel like they got more than they do, materially got more than me, but they jealous and envy me, and I don't know why. You know, I carry myself humble. You know, I'm not always flashy. Shit, look how I'm popping on these videos for the world to see. Sometimes I am dirty and busted. You know, but you just never know what's going on in people's mind. But when you can be content with what God has given you, I think that's pleasing to God. You know, and when you do right with a little, He'll trust you and give you even more the right way. You won't have to lie, steal, beg, kill, or rob, or do anything to get it. What God got for you, He'll give it to you. You know, the blessings of God makes rich, and they add no sorrows. You know. So anyway, that's just my little 2 cents. Let me get started. I took my time lollygagging, being lackadaisical yesterday, working on the driver's side of replacing those shocks and ball joints and stabilizer. I went ahead and used the old stabilizer. So basically all the original parts that I took off, I'm putting them back on. This is the original stabilizer, the factory stabilizer. It wasn't bad when I took it off. You know, it has no grease fitting, but it's still packed with grease. You can even hear the grease in it as you move it around. But the ones that's on there, they have grease fittings. And so I remember in a video that I posted this morning, that was actually yesterday, I was gonna try and put grease in the grease fittings, but the grease fittings kept acting up, and I couldn't get it to where grease would really go in there and get enough grease in, and then they kept coming out, and then it wasn't threaded right. So it's a very cheaply made part. So I just took the whole thing off and pushed it to the side, and put my originals back on there. The only thing that I did not put back on there were the originals, were the tire rod ends. They're not bad, but that ball joint was bad. That was calling a lot of it was dry. The boot was busted, and it could have failed. If they get too bad, they can drop totally out. You lose control of the vehicle. But I'm going to get back started, take this shock stuff off and put the original stuff back on. It has wear and tear, but it wasn't bad. I just tried to replace it for preventative maintenance, and the stuff that I replaced it with for preventative maintenance didn't even last as long as this stuff has lasted, and this stuff is still good. But I also have replacement parts, brand new of everything, just coming in. But however, being that I want to get the life out of this stuff, I'll have those stuff stashed aside. And it's good that whatever you need, get it. If you have a car, you need little parts, little small stuff. If you might need something on a regular basis, or if you see a good deal, you can. In some places they have whole kits and bundles. If aftermarket though, sometimes you can get certain bundles for a fairly reasonable deal, and that's something you could just put to the side for whenever you need it. You know. Yep. But anyway, that's just my little 2 cents. Be content, baby. Be content with everything God gives you. And we must learn how to do everything that we can learn how to do. You know, knowledge is very, very powerful. Don't let nobody make you feel bad for learning the knowledge that you need. And when you learn something, teach somebody else, you know. I remember when I was in college, I used to hear them say, each one teach one, right? I don't know who came up with that, but I heard it a lot. Each one teach one, right? So anyway, let me get started on my work. I just loosened this bolt. Not even 5 minutes. Look at the oil slowing down. I loosened this bolt, put the camera on. Probably been about 3 minutes. This oil's gonna drain. It'll probably slow all the way down in about 10 minutes. And you just clean this bolt up, put this bolt back. It doesn't have torque specs on this, but I would assume it probably was torqued at maybe about 15 no more than 20 foot-pounds. I'd have to look it up, but I don't even think 20 foot-pounds, but I'd have to look it up. And you just tighten it back up to the torque, and that's it. Put the bolt back in, take the filter off, and yep, you get one of these pans right here for $16. That's it. There's nothing to an oil change, nothing.